Great morning, everyone. How's it going, Mom? Yasu, thanks for joining. Dijon, thanks for joining. So, there's going to be a lot of people that's not going to be here from the East Coast, from New York, because I couldn't state this news, but now it's okay to say it. One of the students who used to join the class consistently passed away 3 days ago. Her name was Cathy. She was always on the Qi Gong session. Very upbeat, inspirational person, very dedicated. She was one of Tanya's students. And I got word days back that, she had passed away. I won't give the details of that. But Tanya, who's a dedicated student and supporter of the morning Qi Gong Flow, she's practically here almost every day, has information about the service and everything on her webpage. And a lot of people here are friends of Cathy. So Dushi Amor, who's always on here, that's a friend of Cathy and Tanya. Mo is a friend of Cathy and Tanya. Alan is Tanya's daughter, which is a friend of Cathy and Tanya. So there's a service that's going on today for her. So they are actually going to that service at this time and going to a park to give a sacred ceremony and ritual. So what I want to do in light of that, let's give a moment of silence before we get started for Cathy. Because I indeed miss her, miss seeing her every morning. And, her spirit is always, youthful and very comical at some times. She has a great sense of humor. And, just like a breezy person just flowing throughout life. All right, so let's give a moment of silence for her. I'm going to get into my lotus pose. You can just sit there with prayer hands. But a moment of silence is just prayer, Okay, so as we know, and energetically, the reason why I pause because certain, religious traditions look at life differently than majority of the traditions of the past. So modern traditions look at life as you have one life, and once you pass on, that's it. And ancient traditions look at life as transitions. And as we talked yesterday about the spirit and the soul and energy being outside of your body, and your body is made of this energy that's allowing the body to move, that's allowing the body to think, that's allowing the body to function. All of those things are energy. Your body's a machine. It takes energy to move it, right? So there's something inside of us that's causing this body to function. And hey, how's it going, Cornelia? And in ancient traditions, that energy that's inside of us, the spirit, the soul, is proven by physics that it neither can be created nor destroyed. So it's an energy that has been here since the beginning of time and will be here till the end of time. You know, so when you hear ancient traditions talk about life, they talk about life as transitioning from one body to the next. So the notion of reincarnation, right? And then modern traditions talk about just one life. You're here, live your life once, do what you need to do, and then you're gone. So what happens to that energy, you know, inside of you? They say it either goes up to heaven or hell. So there's two different philosophies. I don't want to get into religion because that's something, you know, I stay away from. But I'm just saying that in light of, let's wish Cathy a great transition into her next life form, or if you are a practitioner of modern religions, then, you know, wish her well as she ascends up into higher consciousness. All right? Okay, so before we get started, we're going to do some breath work. So let's go blow our noses. All right? And I'm also going to give you some water. So give me 1 second. I'll give you 1 second to go get some tissue to blow your nose, and we'll get started. I needed that. Okay. So we've been talking about the notion of silencing the mind and what that looks like and why it's a much needed practice, how to practice it, and what to envision when practicing it. And we also talked about showing up in our lives as these actors, and what type of actor do you want to be? How much practice are you putting in playing that role? All right. So a lot of times, you know, we go in with the ambition of, you know, I want to be the best, whatever, you know, best poet, best musician, best runner, best CEO, you know, and we have to understand or get an understanding of what does that mean. You know, you want to be the best at something. When the notion of the words, I want to be the best, whatever, best husband, best wife, best friend, you know, the words contain an image. So what is your image of best? What does that look like? I want to be a good person. I want to be a great person. What does great and good look like? I want to be a better person. What does better look like? Okay? So all of these things I'm mentioning are words, which are energy, which translate into images. And those images are based upon our personal foundations and conditioning of what would be good or bad or better or best, you know. And we have to question, you know, what that is, what it looks like, and if we're trying to achieve it, then how do we get there? So getting there is, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that takes a practice to transmutate from what we deem as being, you know, not as good, to being better. So there is really no such thing as good, bad, better. It's all subjective, right? So, and I know that sounds crazy, but it's all existing on a scale of polarity. So what I say is better for me, there's always something better than that. You see what I'm saying? Or if I say something's good for me, it could be on this part of the scale. To somebody else, their good is here. So there's different polarities of what good is on this scale, and we seem to say the less goodness it has, it gets back it falls back rather on the opposite side of the scale towards being bad. But it can be all the way here, and the person can be here, and just that little nudge here, that what we think is bad is actually good to them because they're way back past that. You see what I'm saying? So we have to look at life as a subjective experience based upon where we are. There is no such thing as, reaching all the way to the end and saying our work is done. I became the best person I could become. Now I'm just living my life because I'm the best person I can become. No, there's always going to be, on the scale, there's always better. Because that's just subjective reasoning and a perceptual image of what we have of ourselves. And I've been talking about a lot about honest objectivity. I'm going to post something. I posted it on Facebook, but I'm going to post it on Instagram after this discussion. I just didn't have enough time. I wrote a morning reflection, and it talks about the ego and having honest objectivity. Okay? So there's subjectivity, and then there's objectivity, right? Subjectivity are things that haven't taken or solidified into a form or an object. And objectivity is things that have formed, right? And once we become objective, we're looking at these formations inside of us or around us, and we're studying and being very aware of those things and analyzing them in their formation. Subjectivity is, it's devoid of the formation. It's before that. So when I say things are subjective, it means, okay, it hasn't taken form for me in the same way it has taken form for you. So it has objectified itself in your life a certain way, but it's still subjective to me because it's not the same. So that's why we have to be very cognizant of our feelings and our emotions and how we perceive things, because things are always subjective to the other person and their experience. So things that they're going through, we don't really know. So we have to be more compassionate and show empathy, because that subjectivity is very important to how we begin to form our objectivity in our lives. So in those roles that I'm talking about, in wanting to be better people, wanting to do better, wanting to achieve better health, what does that look like? Objectively, to ourselves. And then that is the focus, the yi. I've been talking about the yi, the mind. So after finding, what that looks like, and understanding and visualizing it completely into the purest form and detail, now we want to take that into the mind to process it and elevate it into a daily practice. All right? So if we want to eat better, what does eating better look like? It can be going from just a lot of greasy food to just baked food, right? don't have to be from meat eaters all the way to veganism. That's just like this on this scale. Like I said, subjectivity is a huge scale. So eating better to a person who's just eating fried foods can go just hop here and just eat baked foods versus trying to jump here to veganism, right? So today I want to do a silent practice, but I want us to take inside of our minds and our hearts this whole image. Alright, so if you're on your bed, sit on the edge of your bed, back straight, feet on the floor, flat on the floor. Your knees are aligned with your hips. Alright? Place your hands on your thighs. Relax the shoulders. Again, back straight, and we're going to align that head. So we want to look forward, bring the chin down towards the chest just a little bit and pull it back. Like that. Alright? So for those who are able to do half lotus or full lotus pose, you can do that as well. I want you to get in a meditative position that's comfortable to you. So it's either sitting straight in a chair, or on a bed, or on a meditation pillow, or on a yoga mat. You know, however form you want to do it, but it's not leaning down, it's not laying down. I mean, not leaning down, but leaning on the back of the chair, things like that. We have to keep the back straight and our posture in this alignment so the breath can come up and down and flow properly. Alright? So there's really no cheating in the process. We have to have the alignment right in order to enhance the experience. If you want the experience to happen, then you have to have the alignment right. So that's why these processes are very instrumental to doing this meditation. Alright. So let's breathe in, bringing the shoulders up towards the earlobes. Filling that chest up with air. Let's pull the shoulders back, open up that heart. Breathe in. Pull the shoulders up. Stare up into the third eye in between the eyebrows. Pull the shoulders back. Allow them to drop. Breathe in again. Back. Now we're going to start off with some breath work this morning and then get into our practice, our silent practice. So breathe in. Hands up towards the sides. Face the palms down. As you begin to use the Yi, the mind, to pull the Qi from the heavens down through the body. Again, breathing in. Palms are face down, pulling the Qi up from the earth. Face the palms up as they get past the shoulders. To pull that energy down from the heavens. Breathe out. Showering that energy and releasing every piece of tension, clutter, stress from your body. Let's do it again. Stare up into that pineal gland. Pineal gland. Let's come into prayer pose. Press the thumbs back towards the sternum. Relax the shoulders, bring them back, straighten the back. Align the head. Let's breathe in, bringing the right hand up. Place the pointer finger on the right nostril. We're going to breathe in 4 times. To the left nostril. Close the left nostril with the thumb and breathe out 4 times. To the right nostril. Again. Bring the hand down. Now my left nostril is more clogged than the right, so it's harder to breathe in. And that's probably the case for many of us. So let's breathe in, bringing the left hand up. Place that pointer finger on the right nostril. Just breathe out. So we'll do the same thing. Let's breathe naturally. Let me go blow my nose because that actually loosened up the mucus inside of my left nostril. That was lovely. All right. Back into prayer hands. Now that we have the breath and the circulation going throughout the body and the mind, the Yi, let's use the Yi to control the Qi. And in that process, we're going to steal our mind because we're focusing on the breath, on the intention, which will be right now, on breathing the air into our lower dantian, our lower abdomen, and on the exhalation, pulling that lower abdomen slowly back, deflating the air outside of our body. So let's bring the left palm down into our lap, place the right palm on top of that, connect the thumbs, point the thumbs upward towards the heavens. And let's begin to breathe into that lower dantian, the lower abdomen. Stirring up into the pineal gland, between the eyebrows. When your mind begins to wander, take that thought back into the lower dantian, the lower abdomen, inflating and deflating. Inflation on the in-breath, so it's coming out. And deflation on the out-breath, you're pulling it in towards the spine. Let's tuck that chin in, keep the head straight. Now earlier I talked about setting this intention for 1 week, something we want to achieve. something you want to be better at, or you see as positive or accomplished. And envisioning what things look like objectively right now, at this moment, how we look at this moment, very detailed. If we want to be more patient, we want to see how impatient we are, and scenarios that cause us impatience. How does that feel? How do we react? How do we respond? How do we speak? And then we begin to see ourselves in those same situations, but responding differently to them. So impatience become being patient. What does patience look like? And we have to be very objective with ourselves, because a lot of times we say, well, I'm not impatient. I have patience. I gave this person 20 times and they still didn't do this right. Maybe it takes them 50 times to do it right. So you have to have patience. So being objective with ourselves is saying that I have to have enough patience that I do not let that bother me if it took that person 1,000 times. Why am I getting angry and upset? That's that person's journey, that person's experience. You don't know what's going on with that person, as we talked about earlier, about being subjective. We can think one way and try to fit everyone into that perceptual universe we've created, this world, which is all perceptual to us. But it's not another person's universe in their world. Their experiences causes their perception of the world and the universe and how they navigate through that. So we have to be very cognizant of this subjectivity, and how we objectify things based upon our personal experiences are not everyone else's personal experience. So I'm going to be silent right now as we go ahead and objectify ourselves as we are right now. Very detailed, very honest. And then we're going to re-objectify ourselves as this new being, with a new behavior, with a new practice, with new responses, with new thoughts. Continue to breathe in through that nose and filling up the lower dantian. And out through the nose, pulling the stomach back towards the spine. Relax the shoulders. Relax the entire body. The face. Your jaws. Place the tongue on the roof of your mouth. Relax the neck, back, your hips, your legs, your fingers, your arms, your toes, and the mind. Continue through the inhalation, objectifying who you are right now, and on the exhalation, you re-objectifying the new you, releasing that old thought, that old practice, those old behaviors, those old conditionings outside of the body. Breathe in, pulling those palms face up, still in the Buddhist mudra. Let's bring that energy down. Let's pull the palms apart, face down, to the sides. Let's breathe in. Palms face down until we get past the shoulders, face the palms up. Let's look up and receive that light and energy inside of our minds, in the upper dantian, heart, middle dantian, and lower dantian. Again, stare down, breathe in. Palms are face down until you get past the shoulders. Start rotating the head upward, staring into the sky and receiving that energy to the upper dantian, the mind, the middle dantian, the heart, and the lower dantian, our core. Continue to shower this energy
this love and light throughout your body. Feel that energy pull from the upper dantian down to the lower dantian.
Place the left palm back in the lap, the right palm on top of that, face up. Connect the thumbs. Breathe out. Bring those shoulders up, back, and down. Let's just marinate in that breath, in that love and light practice we just finished. So I want you to take this blissful experience or inner experience that you're having throughout your day and throughout your week. And remember, we started with the intention of objectifying ourselves as who we are right now and what we would like to improve on or become better at, or something we want to change from being a negative habit into a positive habit. And in doing that, being very objective, seeing ourselves for what it is in very, very detailed. So if I gave an example of someone who wants to be more patient, sorry, hope you can still hear me, the low battery thing came on. So if you're wanting more patience, you have to see yourself as an impatient person. And what does that look like? The details, getting angry because things are not moving fast enough, rushing through traffic, cutting people off because you have somewhere to go, and things like that. You have to be very objective with yourself. And this is about personal self-responsibility, self-awareness, and self-honesty. We have to be honest with ourselves. So this form of objectivity is honest objectivity. We have to objectify who we are, how we're responding, how we feel, how we imagine things, how we're envisioning things, how we perceive things, and then take that into this new form of meditation where we're envisioning the opposite of that. Sorry, let me see what you say. There's dang batteries this morning. So we want to see the opposite of that. And the only way you can see the opposite of something or transmutate or change is you have to be objective with yourself and objective with the reality of what is now and then what you want to see in the future. Okay? So presently, what are the things you are experiencing or the behaviors you have, and be very detailed, and then we have to see the opposite of that. But we can't see the opposite of something saying, I want to change, and I can't be honest and get down to the root of what I'm trying to change. And in doing that, we have to be very honest. It's not about it's bringing up things that may look bad and we're ashamed. It's not about that. It's about being honest, to objectify it, and then we're able to transcend it. But you can't transcend anything if you allow the ego to hold on to defending this object we have. So it defends the anger and say, well, you know, that person had cut me off in traffic. I don't want to get angry no more and have a lot of stress. But it's that person who cut me off in traffic. It's their fault. It's like, no, you have to see that and say, why are you blaming that person? There's always going to be things in life that's going to happen. We are the actors. Remember, I've been talking about that. How do we want to show up in this role? We're preparing ourselves for these roles. So let me give you an example. If I was given a role to play as a stuntman and I've never practiced any stunt moves, do I just go on the set and they say, roll them, and I'm just jumping over bridges? And no, I go home when they say, hey, this movie requires some stunt routines. I have to practice those. So when life comes and those stunt routines are required, I'm able to achieve them the way I would like to exceed in those endeavors. So we have to be ready and prepared for life. There's nothing that's gonna be, peaches and cream. It's gonna go like, oh, it's all smooth, and we blaming others for it not going the way we envision it. And that's that subjectivity I talked about earlier. Everything's subjective. People cutting you off in traffic, they probably had to get to there. It's probably a person who had to, for instance, a husband who got a call that his wife is in labor, and he's rushing to the hospital. So he's trying to get through traffic, and he cuts you off. And you're like, you're cursing that person and blaming them. You don't know their story. So you always have to be about yourself and prepared to be ready to address every life endeavor in the way you would like to show up. If you want to be this better person, then you have to see yourself as this better person. A person cutting you off, or a person yelling at you, a person having stress, people going through certain things shouldn't play a huge part on how you react to them. And that takes time and work. And that's what I'm saying. You have to go in, you have this stunt role, right? You have to go in and practice. You have to jump, off of cars about 2,000 times before you know how to jump off that car, right? Okay? Alright. So I'll see you all same space and place and time tomorrow. If you're in Chicago and have time, I'm performing at the Lakeside Church on Lake in Chicago with the monks from Tibet. We have a performance with the monks from Tibet. I'm performing in a band called Devi 2000, doing some kirtan, and then we have Illuminati Congo, John Congo, who's going to be doing some spiritual. He does like some type of spiritual hip hop. He's a yogi as well. So that's a fundraiser for the Tibetan monks who's been traveling all over the world. My friend just hit me up on Facebook and said they was just in Asheville, out where they were. So it's a small world that I'm knowing certain people, and certain people from all over the world who would come here are actually ending up in locations that I met other people from other places, and they're meeting, them as well. So it's just very interesting how the world is so small. And then next Thursday, because I've been saying Wednesday, but Thursday is November 1st. I'll be DJing for Awesome Tapes of Africa, from Africa rather. And that would be in the evening at Sleeping Village. I'm going to post that up tomorrow, and I'm putting together my whole November itinerary. It's coming together quite nicely. There's a lot of great things happening. I'll be starting audio pharmacology private therapy sessions at Waheguru. There's some full moon rituals. There's some DJ sets. There's some traveling that's going on. I'll be in Seattle at the end of the month. I'm very excited about that. And more to come. So, see you tomorrow. And remember, stay steadfast in your practice. Allow your Yi to lead the Qi, the mind to lead the energy. Emotions are energy, so your mind is in control. Peace.